Happy New Year, Dr. Hernandez. How are you doing today?
Fine, we made it. Finally, a good year is coming.
Yeah, happy 2021. Okay, new year, new citizen. Okay.
Exactly. Lots of new citizens. Yeah.
Okay, so this year, or somebody asked questions about the oath of allegiance. So I want to talk about the connection between the N400 and the oath of allegiance. Okay, so let's take a look at the N400 here. And this is the N400. This is the actual N400. This is page number 16. So here are the questions 45 to 50. And
yeah, these are the final questions, you know, that you have to answer before you sign your application. Yeah.
So this is really exciting because when you get to this point, you're like, I'm getting closer and closer to becoming an American citizen. But some people trip up, especially on 46 and 47. Can you read 46 for me, please?
Certainly. Do you understand the full oath of allegiance to the United States?
Okay, and the answer is going to be yes.
We hope it's yes, but people need to understand what the word oath and allegiance are, you know?
Okay, so we're going to be talking about that today. And can you read number 47, please?
Certainly. Are you willing to take the oath of allegiance to the United States?
So the full oath of allegiance, so that's where we're going to be talking about. Now, before we go there, we're going to look at a worksheet. And again, let's just review some of the vocabulary. We have Constitution, the U.S. government represented by the three branches, the oath of allegiance. So this is a picture of people at their oath ceremony. We're talking about bearing arms, non-combatant, and work of national importance under civilian direction.
Right, now, do you normally explain? I mean, I can do bear arms, because I just show people, you know, that. But do you ever explain non-combatant?
Yeah. Yes, I do. Of course I do. So let's take a look at 45, okay?
All right. You ready? Let me ask you the question.
Yes.
Do you support U.S. Constitution and the form of government?
Yes.
And what is the Constitution?
It is the supreme law of the land.
And what is the U.S. form of government?
The U.S. has a democratic form of government.
All right, Jennifer, that's going to be one of the questions on the new 128.
Yeah.
One of the civics questions.
And some people say,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So some people say, explain the U.S. is a democracy. The U.S. has a democratic form of government. The U.S. has a Republican form of government. Okay. Now let's go on to 46. And we're going to focus on 46 and 47 today.
All right. Do you understand the full oath of allegiance to the United States?
Yes.
What is an oath?
An oath is a promise.
What is allegiance?
Allegiance is to be loyal.
Or I always I say allegiance, and another word would be loyalty, like so that they are, anyway, sorry. What is the oath of allegiance?
I promise to be loyal to the United States.
Number 47. Are you willing to take the full oath of allegiance?
Yes.
All right. And willing means are you ready to do this?
Do you want to? Yes.
There you go. 48. If the law requires it, are you willing to bear arms on behalf of the United States?
Yes.
What is to bear arms?
I will use a weapon to protect the United States.
And I always use my body. I always go like this. So because that's the question, is if I
put a little TPR in there. Yes,
yeah.
Good.
So that's it. I go cut straight to the chase. Number 49. If the law requires it, are you willing to perform non-combatant services for the U.S. Army?
Yes.
What is non-combatant?
I will work in the Army without using a weapon.
Right, and I always give an example. You're going to cook. Will you clean? Will you wash dishes? Will you wash the clothes? So these are all things that you would be working in the Army, but it would be non-combatant. So I try and be real clear, so it's something that they can see. Number 50. If the law requires it, are you willing to perform work of national importance under civilian direction?
Yes.
What is work of national importance?
So for instance, helping during a major emergency, example, a flood, a fire, or earthquake.
And what is under civilian direction?
Follow the orders of non-military safety officers, disaster relief workers from the Red Cross.
All right. And I always say, I kind of personalize it. I say, you know, if the president came to you and said, look, I need your help in this project, in a dam or whatever the project is, are you going to say yes? So I just try and bring it home like that rather than keep it up here in theory. So.
And some of our students work in cybersecurity. Okay, so now we're going to go to the 18th part of the N400. So this one,
it's the very last page. Notice.
Yeah, and this is the one.
Yeah.
You're going to be signing this at your oath ceremony. You do not sign it.
No, in the interview. I don't think so. In the interview.
No.
No. We don't sign anything, at least in Los Angeles.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
The interview. It's the final part of the interview. When they've approved you, then you're going to sign it. Okay.
By signing this below, you acknowledge your willingness and ability to take the oath. So this is page number 20. This is part 18. Okay.
Very last page. And we always want to tell our students, don't sign this now. That's part of your interview. So you're signing page 16 or 17, whatever it is, but you're not signing this page because this happens at the interview.
So we're going to be going over this right now. So this is the oath of allegiance here. So this is embedded in your N400. Okay, so let's take a look at this.
Yeah, now, nicer on your worksheet. It's so nice because we can
so much.
pull it apart because there's lots of hard words here that, you know, nobody, not even native speakers have a hard time with all these words over here.
Yeah.
Are you ready? You want me to read them?
Okay, let me.
Or you want to read it? What you up to, you say?
Okay, we'll go back and forth. Okay, so why don't you read the first one? I'll read the second one. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. All right, hold on a second. I'm going to get rid of you so I can. There we go. I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state, or sovereignty, of whom or which I have heretofore been a subject or citizen.
So what is renounce and abjure?
Right, to say no.
What are foreign prince, potentate, state, or sovereignty?
Leaders of other countries.
So a summary of this would be, I promise to no longer follow leaders or laws of other countries.
You know, that's really good, Jennifer, because that's so much more, it's clearer, so much clearer than all those words that they have us read up there.
Yeah, well, this is also part of what we, one of the civics questions, where what are some of the promises you make as a citizen? Okay, so let's go down to the second clause, okay? I will support and defend the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
And the Constitution?
The Constitution is the supreme law of the United States. So
succinctly put, it's I promise to follow the laws of the United States. Yeah, that's really clear the way you have it there. Yeah.
So that's why I have the picture of the Constitution here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Let's go down to the third clause.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
Okay, so what is allegiance?
Just like you have it there, loyalty.
Okay, and so a good summary of this would be, I promise to be loyal to the United States.
Right, and that we can understand. Each of your summaries, people can, you know, it can be put to something that people can really understand. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and that's related to one of the other civics questions. What do you promise loyalty to when you say the Pledge of Allegiance?
Right.
You promise
either to the flag or to the United States. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Okay.
That I will bear arms on behalf of the United States when required by the law.
Okay. So what is bear arms?
You're right. You know that I always use TPR. It's real easy to use a weapon to protect the United States. But for me, I will use a, you know.
Wait a second. Let me show you. I'm going to stop share real quick. I'm going to ask you, what do you mean by TPR? When I say bear arms, what do you say?
I don't say anything. I use my body to explain what I want. Yeah.
So show, what do you, how do you?
So when you
what
tell
gestu-
me bare arms, then I'm gonna imagine that I'm holding a gun, and that person, my student, doesn't need to know any words. They can just see what I'm doing here. So
You know what? I don't do that when I use this.
I will. Except
Yeah.
that bare arms means I'm gonna fight it. I'm
Guard,
gonna use
yeah.
it against you.
All right, so let's go back. Let's go back. Okay. So now let's go on. I will perform non-combatant service in the armed forces of the United States when required by the law.
And what is non-combatant?
To work in the U.S. Army without using a weapon.
And I said this before. I always try and be real clear. Oh, you know, there's lots of people who work in the Army. They wash the clothes, or they make the beds, or they do, prepare the food, because they have to prepare the food. So that would be non-combatant service. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, an Army travels on its stomach for sure. Okay.
All right. Now wait. And so what's the summary?
I promise to work in the U.S. Armed Forces without using a weapon if needed.
There you go. All right.
So if the Army needs me, I'll help. Okay.
I'm there. Yeah.
Okay. And some people have problems with both bare arms and non-combatant because of their religious obligations. So
Right,
for
and-
instance, yes, go ahead.
And Jennifer, that needs to be dealt with when you're doing the application with the student, because I have had, there's certain religions, Jehovah's Witness, Seventh-day Adventists. There are certain religions where if you're a member of this religion, it's a tenet of the religion that you're not going to bear arms and you're not going to fight. And so I go through with the student, if they're in that category, because I've had them before, they need to go back to their minister, and they need to have a letter from the minister indicating how long they've been a member. And the minister needs to underscore, these are the tenets, these are the ideas of our church, and it is one that you cannot, if you're a Quaker. So there's certain religions that are famous, we know, for being nonviolent as it's part of their religion. So,
but even though they cannot make these promises, so they're not taking the full oath of allegiance, they're still full citizens of the United States.
Right, it would be accepted as long as they could prove that it wasn't just because I don't want to serve, it's because I have a religious, obligation to not serve. Exactly right. That's exactly right. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now go ahead.
We're down to, let's see, that I will perform work of national importance under civilian direction when required by the law.
So what is work of national importance?
To do important work. And you have your emergency security, but I always say to my students, if the president comes to you and says, I really need your help, maybe they're building a dam or they're building a school or there's a project, would you be willing to help? And normally that, at least it makes it clear for the student that they can say yes, right? Okay. And what's the summary? Can you give me the summary of that?
I promise to do important work or to help in a national emergency if needed.
Excellent, excellent. All right, you ready for the last one?
Yes, I am. So,
go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, and that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. So help me God.
All right, and what is obligation?
To do something because of a law or a moral principle.
And what are you saying here?
I'm saying I want to be a U.S. citizen. So,
but nobody's forcing me to take this. I mean, I think that's the issue here, that I'm doing it voluntarily and that nobody's forcing me to take this step, right? That's what obligation to me is. Yeah.
Also, you're not saying that I believe in religion or not believing in religion.
Oh, no, they haven't asked you that. Yes, no.
When they're not asking that, they're not talking about religious belief. When you say, so help me God, you're basically emphasizing that you're doing something seriously.
Well, and it's part of the oath. So help me God. Yes. I mean, that's an issue. That's just part of the wording of the oath. So
okay,
when you take an oath, yeah.
So in summary, again, we've taken a look at the N400 application for naturalization. This is part 12. You have a reference to the oath of allegiance in numbers 45 through 50. Here's a worksheet, and of course, I'll put a link of that on our show notes, We have taken a look at the N400 Part 18. Do not sign this until you go to your citizenship interview. And again, we have another worksheet about Part 18. And 1 minute, please. Finally, do you have any final comments?
Oh, no, I just congratulations on the worksheet. I think that's excellent because the pictures and, you know, the highlighting of the words bold, making them bold so you can focus on the difficult vocabulary is really a good way to help people understand what they're being asked to sign.
Thank you very much. Okay, do you have any New Year resolutions?
Just to make it through the year and be not sick. Avoid COVID-19. That's my promise.
Okay, so yeah, this year, make your resolution for New Year, new citizen. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.